This is Amy Steinbreck talking with Dr. Stephen Edgley, the Director of Stroke Rehabilitation at the University of Utah Healthcare.
Medical news and research from University of Utah physicians and specialists you can use for a happier and healthier life. You're listening to The Scope.
Dr. Edgley, thank you for joining me so much in studio for a podcast on stroke recovery.
My pleasure.
Every year, more than 795,000 people in the United States suffer a stroke. Strokes are becoming more common among young adults in the prime of their life. I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about stroke recovery process in the young stroke survivor.
It's true that about 10% of stroke patients are under the age of 50. This population represents a special population in terms of the unique challenges they face. They're generally in the crux of their career and raising families, and this life event is very hard for most people. I find that in all stroke patients who have a loss of function, they go through certain stages of mourning or loss. We talk about the Kubler-Ross stages of mourning, which entails denial, bargaining, things like anger, and ultimately acceptance. I find that especially in the young stroke patient, meaning younger than, say, 50, these patients need to be guided towards things that will improve their chances for recovery before they reach the level of acceptance. Oftentimes, stroke patients don't fully realize their own potential.
So this is somewhat, pushing the stroke patient to their potential and making them realize their potential.
Exactly. It takes a lot of guidance and someone, actually a whole team of people to guide them through the barriers that they encounter. Medical, physical, emotional, everything.
Right. So I guess one way to look at a stroke is it's a process from beginning to end. Stroke recovery is truly a process.
That's exactly right. That process takes a lot of support. For many people that are young, they have the potential to get back to high-level things like driving or return to work. They just need a little guidance and the resources and a team of people to help them along.
Young adults are often faced with a different set of circumstances than elderly stroke patients. They have a long life expectancy in front of them.
I think it's critical to set the patient on the right course for their next future decades, and getting them set up with the things that will truly provide quality of life, like being able to access the community, like being able to recreate, and like being able to form meaningful relationships with friends and family. And for some people, like being able to return to their former employment, or at least do some service activities, which is helpful to their overall quality of life.
Remaining engaged with community and family, I'm sure, is a big part of that.
Yes.
How do young patients sell themselves short oftentimes?
When patients have a stroke, it's a really dramatic life event. They probably don't see their friends and family going through and succeeding with the process of recovery. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how to get themselves out of this black pit. I think many patients come to a certain level of comfort and realize that things will be okay in their life in terms of their basic needs, but don't really have an idea what to reach for. Many times the limits of people are limits that they put on themselves.
Self-imposed. Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that every stroke patient has the potential to get back to 100% the way their life was in the past. Certainly, reaching and striving to get as much quality of life and be as independent in the community is really important.
Recognizing your potential.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you experienced, other people putting limits on stroke patients?
I do see occasionally some people around the stroke patient who, based on misinformation, have some assumptions what the stroke patient's potential is. We commonly deal with this in therapy. For example, a patient's family member tries to do everything for the patient without giving them the chance to learn how to do the activities themselves. That's a common occurrence and a simple matter of just educating the family members to let's try to promote as much independence as possible. And the way to do that is you learn by doing.
Right. So it's often finding that balance, that perfect balance between independence and dependence.
Yes.
What are some of the barriers, Dr. Edgley, do young stroke patients face in recognizing their potential?
I would say, again, a stroke is a major life event, and it requires a major life adjustment. Some people are able to adjust better than others on their own. Most people are able to adjust more effectively with a broad network of support, including family, friends, and rehab specialists. With time, we like to promote higher level goals like return to work if possible. For that to occur, you generally get to have a supportive employer who is willing to take a chance.
Right.
Stroke patients have the potential to be superb employees.
Right. Dr. Edgley, what advice or tips do you have for the young stroke patient?
Accept yourself and where you are, but don't accept the limitations that you perceive or other people put on you.
TheScopeRadio.com is University of Utah Health Sciences Radio. If you like what you heard, be sure to get our latest content by following us on Facebook. Just click on the Facebook icon at TheScopeRadio.com.